4 games left in the season, and all of them count.
Yeah, they sure do. I mean, the Stampeders are in a decent position in the sense that they've got tiebreakers over both Saskatchewan and Edmonton. And, you know, in light of the opportunity that they lost on Saturday night at BC Place, first place probably is out of reach right now. So now the focus has to turn to nailing down second place and getting a home field advantage for a playoff game in November. And, you know, the Riders are right there, tied with them at 8-6. So, yeah, they've got to take care of business over these next 4 games.
Yeah, and even though Calgary has won this series with Saskatchewan, that doesn't mean you can't be worried about the Riders coming through.
Well, look what the way the Riders are playing right now. I mean, they are the hottest team in the CFL right now, and the Stampeders have lost 2 of their last 3 games. That kind of speaks for itself. Plus, they're going into Winnipeg on Saturday against a team that, you know, up until Thanksgiving Monday, we would have thought would be the free square in the bingo card, and we all saw what happened at Molson Stadium in Montreal, with the Bombers coming away with one of the most surprising victories of this CFL season. So, the Stampeders have some work to do.
They cannot take Winnipeg lightly. The rest of the schedule, the same.
No, that's absolutely right. I mean, road trip to Winnipeg, home for a couple games against Hamilton, the return of Henry Burris, another game against BC, and then they close out the season at Commonwealth Stadium. So not a terrible schedule, not an easy schedule either. I think they got to set the tone at Canada Inn Stadium on Saturday.
John Hufnagel maybe making a move this week, bringing back a familiar face.
Yeah, Anwar Stewart, defensive end. You know, it was interesting. He was cut here in 2002 training camp by Wally Buono, who said that the guy that they thought would replace him, Corey Terry, had more upside than Anwar Stewart. And, you know, that's one of the few mistakes Wally Buono actually made around here. Anwar Stewart, of course, having a terrific career with the Alouettes over the next 10 years. And, you know, 66 sacks, the career sacks leader. 36 years old, probably not a full season player anymore, but can he go out and get it done over these next 4 games? Yeah, I think so. The Stampeders want some experience kind of in that rotation with Kenny Petway at defensive end, and he's a good fit.
You wanted to also talk about Charleston Hughes this week.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing. Charleston Hughes is such a dependable guy, and it's up to him, I think, to really go out and put pressure on Winnipeg's quarterbacks, whoever it is. I mean, we're hearing stories that maybe Buck Pierce will get the start, but obviously Joey Elliott did a terrific job in Montreal, Player of the Week this week. In order to shut the offense down, you got to put pressure. And Charleston Hughes, you know, the team sacks leader, matching his career high, and you know, I think 4 games left to go out and make a statement that he should be the Defensive Player of the Year in the West Division.
A lot of talk in the media this week about quarterbacks. When's Drew Tate going to come in? How much of the lack of movement on the offense during against BC can we hang on number 15?
I think it's fair to say that it was not his best game. I think it's also fair to say he was going up against the CFL's best defense, and both those factors played in. Drew Tate is not going to be starting anytime soon. I mean, we watch practice. He's not taking reps with the first team still. He will be the number 3 quarterback until he's mentally ready to go, and that's the biggest thing at this stage in his recovery. He's got to prove to himself that that repaired left shoulder can take hits and that he can brace himself, and that's a stumbling block for him, no question about it. And he's got to get over that. And until that stage happens, it's Kevin Glenn's football team. And you know, John Hufnagel has made it very clear that he's not interested in any kind of controversy here. You know, the players will decide it in the end. And, you know, Kevin Glenn has shown us that he can win football games, and he's done it this year for the Calgary Stampeders. He's got to do it again Saturday at Winnipeg.
Coaches always try to avoid controversy, but if you were a betting man, would you say Drew Tate would be, if the Stampeders are lucky enough to host a Western semifinal, would he be the starter there? I
wouldn't take that bet. If Kevin Glenn's playing good football, he will be the starter. He's earned that, and again, you know, that's one of John Hufnagel's favorite sayings: the players will decide it. That's what happened last year with Henry Burris. He played himself out of the starting job. I think Kevin Glenn would have to play himself out of the starting job.
Finally, what should we be looking for in Winnipeg?
You know, up until Thanksgiving Day, I would have said that it would be an easy Stamps victory. I mean, we saw what they did to the Bombers here a couple of weeks ago. But that's a motivated football team, and the Stampeders have to equal that motivation. And, you know, there's lots to play for. We know that. You just look at the schedule. Just look at the standings. The Stampeders have to come out and match the intensity of the Bombers and then let their skilled players be their skilled players.